back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess, where we dive into the news, politics, and off-the-record moments shaping Nevada and beyond. I'm Annette.
And I'm Mayte, or Maria Teresa, and together with you, we'll be exploring what really happens during those recesses, which are not always just 1 minute, both on...
Which already happened, by the way.
And we're going to go from political drama to all the chaos that's happening and ask what the fuck is going on. So let's get into it. Annette, let's dive in. Let's go to our recess rundown, which is your tweet to all the drama and decision-making in Carson City. So what's going on over there?
Apologies to everyone. It's my fault that we're a day late, $1 short. I was stuck at the Envy Ledge for my first Envy Ledge After Dark, everyone. Working on some bills, making some amendments. This was a deadline week, so Monday was a deadline, trying to get all the bills introduced. All of my bills that I'm working on got introduced, so if it didn't get introduced, it's not going to be a bill unless it's like a committee bill or an emergency bill. So that's a thing that happened. Really proud. The first bill that I was working on, it's Assemblymember Yui Wynn's Kin Care bill, which I am so excited about, is going to be such a great bill for our union members, our union family. It got work session today, this afternoon. It had very little opposition. Woo! Even the chamber came out in support. Shout out to our friend Paul. Shout out to our friend Brian from retail, who was on earlier.
If people remember, if they have memories and have been around, and if you're not, and you're brand new to this, welcome. But in previous sessions, when we've talked about this issue, any type of leave at all, I mean, we've been in meetings where the chambers would just lose their fucking minds and blame it on accounting. Like, we're not going to be able to count anymore if people have some kind of...
To be fair, that was never Vegas. Like, that was always Reno.
But, like, it's pretty big, though, that just the chamber is actually supportive instead of, like, abstaining or, like, lightly, neutral or whatever. Because sometimes that's what they do. Like, it's pretty big.
I have been so excited to work on paid leave with Moms Rising again. I worked on it with you when we were at our former job, and now I get to work on it with Moms Rising with our dear friend and love of our life, Akiko. And, we're supporting that bill. We're supporting Selena LaRue Hatch's paid sick leave bill. We're supporting pre-K with Selena LaRue Hatch. We're also supporting a couple other bills. One is Nathan Anderson's bill, Assemblymember Anderson's bill to open up HOAs to daycare facilities. So like if a family member wants to watch your kids, you can actually do that. So lots happening in the paid family leave and childcare space. I'm really excited for those bills to be moving forward and really looking forward to that work this session. And I'm so proud to have been a part of Assemblymember Wynn's bill. So shout out to Assemblymember Wynn, Yui Wynn, our favorite. We love him. We got a couple other bills that I'm working on now. A judicial reform bill, which is pretty cool, to add some like ethical standards to like the judges when they run for office. So, maybe putting him in line with like the executive branch or the legislative branch when something unethical happens, so that those reports have to be like out in the open. Huh. That would be good. So we know who we're voting for. Sounds like a good plan. Right. Working on another bill with my other client, the Nevada Coalition for Psychedelic Medicine, who was on last week. So we have AB 378, which will have a hearing next Wednesday in HHS. So if you're supporting that bill, that's Assemblymember Max Carter's bill. Very proud of that bill. It's a pilot project for veterans and first responders. So if you're looking to support that, that'd be great. So lots of stuff that I'm working on, lots of stuff that I'm watching. Still no news on the film tax credits. You know how it is. They're going to have that one hearing, and then it's going to be held till the end, because we know how all of this goes. So some of the bigger bills we're still waiting on. Obviously, good stuff like free school lunches. There was an awesome bill today that Assemblymember Cynthia Moore, Zierma Moore, that makes it so high school kids can't work past a certain time on school nights because employers are kind of abusing that a little bit with high schoolers. And so making sure that their education comes first. Obviously, we want, if kids want to work, we understand that sometimes they have to or sometimes they need to, but making sure that there's like actual limitations on that so that they put their schooling first. So I thought that was a really cool and creative bill. it's so fun to like learn new stuff. I'm like learning all kinds of new issues and the way that, different things work and in the business community. So it's been kind of fun. I'm actually really
That's
enjoying
awesome.
it. It's also very
I
stressful.
bet that usually happens around deadlines when you're actually working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I should also shout out ACDC, my other client. Love them. They're so great. Miss Vita and all of the staff over there are just amazing. We worked with one API this week and did AANHPI lobby days. Hugely successful, got tons of press and got to shout out all of our community leaders. And like I said, Miss Vita is just amazing. I love
Iconic.
her to death. And so she was up here. Yes, iconic. Like one of those community leaders that's actually iconic. So shout out to her and her organization for all their good work on that. I was really proud to be a
Heck
part of
yeah,
it.
shout out. And for people that don't know, who is ACDC, One APIA? What are those organizations?
Yeah, so ACDC is the Asian Community Development Council, and they've been around for 10 years. This is their 10-year anniversary. Miss Vita Lynn, she is the founder and the president of ACDC, and has been in our lives for a very long time, as long as both of us were at our former job. And they brought me on to help with comms, and I love that. And I'm helping them put together a comms plan and helping them get through session and trying to figure out and navigate the federal government stuff that's impacting all of these nonprofits. And so really, really excited to be working with them. And then One APIA is their C4 organization that does all of their advocacy work and things like that. So really, really working in the AANHPI space to make sure that there's representation for all of those different important communities and make sure that their voices are heard up at the legislature. And, today was Reproductive Health Lobby Day. There's grassroots lobby days coming up. There's environmental lobby days coming up. So lots of stuff happening at the
And I
building
have
this
a
week.
question that other people may have, Annette. You talked about
Sure.
ACDC and One APA and the communities that they represent. What if someone says, why is a non-Asian person working on this and working with them? Should
Well,
someone from that community be there? Tell us about that. Because I know how you got hired on
well,
and how much you've helped, Yui, and how much they've
yeah.
mentored you. And so it's really a symbiotic relationship and not about taking up space.
Well, first of all, I'm only a consultant. I'm not hired on full time. And I was hired to actually help mentor their staff and get them in a place where they can do a comms plan and get them in a place where they can do big events and understand how to write press releases and, the basics of comms, right? And then also help them through session because they needed the guidance. And so I'm really honored that they chose me for that. I'm really honored to do this work. I'm really honored to always be an ally to that community and other communities that I care deeply about. And so when Yui and Vita asked me to come on, it was a real honor for me. I remember calling you and being like, "Oh my gosh, you're never gonna guess who asked." And it's just been such an honor spending time with Miss Vita in particular. I always get to spend time with Yui and I love him to death, but Vita is a treasure. And she is such a great mentor to young women and all women, really, and is just one of those elders in the community, especially in the nonprofit community, that I've always looked up to. And I feel like it's a real honor and privilege to get
And
to
she
work
doesn't
with
take
her.
any shit, which I love.
Her
I've
and
gotten to
Yui.
travel with them both. Once I got to go to a conference representing our former organization, and I'm like, boy, this is amazing. But I want to, I think that's why I mentioned it's not about taking up space, because you're actually going to make space by training younger people that,
It's the goal.
there are these skills that you can use. And a lot of times those skills, you may learn them in school or you may read about them, but in practicality, it's a whole other beast. And it's funny working now in another level of, doing this internationally, that gap is everywhere of people that really care about certain things, certain communities. They don't know a lot of times how to really organize, really do communications, really do any kind of advocacy, because it's not something that is like a regular job you can do, or even sometimes if you, like I said, study it, you don't actually. We've had how many people that have graduated from political science and they have no idea about the legislative process. They have no idea about how to do communications around it. And so it's more about making up space because people will not believe how much people don't know how to do this and have done it for a long time.
It's so funny because, there's so much gatekeeping in this nonsense, and there shouldn't be. There's plenty of space for all of us. There's plenty of work to be done for all of us. There's plenty of work, especially right now, to be done to save our communities and make sure that our communities are protected and safe. And we need good allies right now. That's what we should be doing. And I had a young woman who comes from one of our other community partners that we've worked with for a long time. She recently left, and she today was in the building for Reproductive Justice Day, and she sat down with me, and I'm so proud of her. She's such an amazing, incredible woman, and she's focusing on being a doula and doing midwifery and just like all this amazing stuff. And she's like, "Can I ask you to be my mentor?" And you don't even know. I mean, maybe you do because you know me really well, but like that feeling of like somebody asking me to mentor them, I'm like, what do you want to know? I'll tell you anything. You want me to go to the meeting with you? Like, what do you need me to do? Right? Like, I will bend over backwards to do that. And so it's a real honor when people actually take the time to get to know you and really understand that you're in this for the right reasons, despite what some people have to say, and that you are trying to make the world a better place. And so I was honored when she asked me. I was like, God, yes. I've been so lucky to have so many incredible people, especially incredible women, mentor me. And I still find me new mentors every day. Again, Vita, right? And I get to have these incredible women in my life who still text me and still call me and still check on me and make sure I'm doing well. And like, I need to now pay that forward too. I feel like other people maybe need to get the memo.
Yeah. And I guess the second thing that I as you're talking about this is, I love it when there's allies that get to work within the communities they are close to or they have friends in. I know that we have known people that, for example, they're not Latino, but they work at a Latino organization. They're as white as can be, but they work there and maybe got some flack for that, but they're amazing and amazing at what they do. Or, it's great to have people that are not from a community actually be in it, because I think it also brings fresh blood and signals to the outside world, not in a virtual signaling kind of way, but in a real way, that you don't have to be to support. You can be an ally and hear someone.
Yeah. Yes. You can be an ally and also share your knowledge and share the stuff that, listen, not all of this came easy to me. I had to work and I had to learn, and I didn't start off in comms, right? I started off in a very different aspect of politics. I actually started off in the legislature and then went into comms, right? So I had to learn all that stuff. And why not teach someone else? Again, there is a need for communications professionals in our space. I think that's the one thing the progressive movement in particular, but all of these movements don't do well, is comms. And that's left, that's right, that's everybody. And so for me, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? Like, what are you doing?
And sadly, we talk a lot about this at my day job. I was on a webinar of people saying we have to do better at this and actually teach each other and learn and put our student hats on, because currently the only one that really has a grasp around how modern communications work, sadly, is the dude in the White House.
Yeah.
He's really good at it. That's why, people from all demographics told from the Democrats and voted for Trump, but yet maybe voted Democrat down ballot. Like, we, all sides that aren't fucking crazy, need to maybe put our humility hat on and, do what's right and learn. Because there's real problems happening. Like, there's actual problems happening, and that's why we need to teach people how to do it, so that as more of this kind of shit happens, there's talented people that can respond.
Well, and instead of tearing people down, maybe like pull up a chair and bring up people up with you. I don't know. What do I know?
Oh boy. Well, anything else?
Envy Ledge. I mean, we've reached silly season, so who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what we're going to start seeing bills being killed now. We're going to see them die silent deaths. We're going to see them die very public deaths. We've reached the point where we're there. We're going to start seeing work sessions. That's where bills get pulled. So after the hearing happens, that's where they get pulled into in the committee and actually like voted on. So if there's any problems or any amendments with the bills, that's where they're discussed with the legislators only and the bill sponsor only. And then those bills get a vote, hopefully. And then they move out of committee and move through the process. And then there's the first House deadline. So April is a busy time. Those big bills are starting to loom now. I know we've got some gun violence prevention bills coming up for hearings. I know we've got some big housing bills still to come. I know we've got, big stuff looming. And so those bills are going to start getting heard over the next couple of weeks. And so now is when the process really begins.
Yeah. And if folks are curious, we had mentioned we would do this, but today went up our short explainer video how to sign up for Nellis. We can do more of these. Like if you want an infographic on how to know the process, because it's complicated, but it's easy to understand once you see it, we can post that too. So we'll post that in the chat so that folks can see, because you can track where what Annette just mentioned, where bills are in Nellis for free. Anyone in Nevada, you just need an email and that's it, and a creative password.
Love to see it. I'm super excited. If you need help, ask us in the comments. No, there are no dumb questions when it comes to the Nevada legislature. I am immersed in it every single day. So no dumb questions.
You've watched a legislative hearing, you know that your question is probably not dumb. Not to insult any legislators, but legislators ask some very basic questions. So your question is basic.
Yeah, because they're not experts on everything.
Don't feel bad about it, because even legislators are like,
no.
Tell me this in apples and oranges, please.
When we were meeting today, we were meeting with some legislators on the psilocybin bills, and I had a legislator literally say to me, I know nothing about this. Tell me more. I was like, yeah, it's kind of crazy that, you got to be a real expert to know about psilocybin, mushrooms, all of that stuff. And so I get the privilege of immersing myself in that every single day. And it's really cool to work on that issue. But legislators are citizens, right? It's a citizen legislature. So they don't know about all this stuff. They don't know about the 1,000 bills that are out there right now. And so that's our job that's what a lobbyist does. It's our job to educate them. So yeah, if you have questions, we're here to answer and put them in the chat. All right. Let's go to the local lowdown, Maria. I met our new superintendent. Well, she already knew.
Did she know you?
She knew me. I was like, oh, hey, girl. I didn't know you knew me. It was cool. I was in the hallway the other day at the building, and she was like, Annette, thank you. And I was like,
we tweeted about her. Maybe that's why.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I also maybe just from like going to the school board meetings and yelling. I don't know. We've done a lot of that. We've done a lot of yelling in our years. So could have been that. I thought it was cool though. I was like, you know me? That's cool. Wow. I felt a little flattered. Anyways, Joan Ebert is our new superintendent, everyone. We're very excited about this. I think she's going to be great to work with. She was one of our top 2. I really hope she brings Anzalone in to work in her, administration. The next thing that has to happen is the school board and her have to kind of debate a contract now and figure out a contract and go through all those negotiations and normal, HR type stuff. And then hopefully she'll come on sometime in April, like officially. But it feels, I should knock on wood, like things are starting to level out at the Clark County School District. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, that's where dreams go to die. But I am hopeful with some stable leadership from somebody who actually understands our schools and comes from Nevada, we might be able to get ahead. And maybe this Department of Education gets cut altogether and it doesn't matter anymore, we don't have any because
schools. Right, Chulo? He's over here.
Chulo can read probably better than some of the kids can after the Department of Ed gets cut.
He knows what words mean in English and Spanish.
He's bilingual. Right. More than me.
But that's awesome. Joni Ebert, coming from working in education, at first I was like, not someone that's already been in some kind of leadership on.
I know.
Sometimes when you work in labor, you're like the employer, the dark side. But I think she'll be good. I think she'll be great.
So I have high hopes for this woman because, dear Lord, the previous idiots and their Pelotons were not cutting it. So I really hope that she is where we need. What are you doing?
Chula's requesting something.
Oh my God. Well, apparently I'm here by myself, everyone. So this is a problem. When she comes back, we're going to talk about Tesla's catching on fire. So
Here.
stay tuned. Oh, there he is. There's the culprit right there.
He
Chulo,
wanted attention.
Chulo, did you catch the Teslas on fire?
Hello. It was you?
I knew it. It was him and Squiggy. They went out. They set the Teslas
You and
on
Annette's
fire.
dog, your father did that? They're not. God.
Look at him. He knows. He's into it. He
confess?
knew. I knew it.
Confess
Yep. He was coming on the show to confess his crimes. Talk to Elon, Chulo.
I don't like that guy. I don't like Nazis.
Yeah, me either, buddy.
Está loco, his grandmother says. I can't believe you and your spiritual father did that. Shame, Chulo. Shame. How dare you?
I'm currently getting photos of my dog right now
Look
with
at
a cone
your
on
father.
his head because he keeps biting
Look at
his
your
tail.
father. Chulo, look at your father.
Yeah, Squiggy has the cone of shame on, buddy. That's another local update. His allergies are bothering him, so he's been biting his tail.
Dog updates are important. If you have dog, cats, let us know how they're doing.
Fish, animals of any kind. Soon the tortoises will be out when I'm home. You all will see them. We'll give you tortoise updates. Okay, back to Tesla fire. So Tesla's caught on fire in Las Vegas. Maria, would you like to update us about that? You're in Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Caught on fire. Tesla's caught on fire.
So here's the question. Is the news reporting that they caught on fire or were they burned?
It's funny.
I know that they have like a thing where they like spontaneously combust. So it's 50-50, right?
Exactly. And I haven't seen, other than like the tweets going everywhere of them just being on fire, I haven't seen any details. But yeah. But who knows now that they're literally arresting people for, quote, terrorism. Like, I didn't know burning a car was terrorism. I know that's going to sound terrible, but...
He's not the president of the United States.
You know, it's... Like, is it a crime? Yeah, but so is what he's doing. Firing people. And cooing the government.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly, innocent until proven guilty.
Listen, I'm not excusing it, right? I'm not saying go burn down buildings and burn down cars. But what I am saying is maybe get some evidence before you do.
You know what happened in, this is going to sound terrible, but a former Soviet country had an IKEA fire. And they did an investigation, and guess what? It was Russian intelligence. Weird.
And we know that all that Antifa nonsense, all those protests, yes, that is not real. That was made up. That was Russian propaganda. That was not real. It is a proven fact, friends. So let me just say this one more time. I question if those Teslas caught themselves on fire or if somebody actually caught them on fire, because I will remind you, and this is something I've been thinking about, Maria. Remember when Metro called Elon, old McMahill, nasty McMahill, called Elon and said, hey, Elon, there's a Cybertruck on fire in Donald Trump's hotel in Las Vegas. Can you hack into the motherboard, basically, and open the thing up? That's all I'm saying. If he can hack into cars and open them up for you, what says he can't light them on fire too? We've seen lots of insurance fires before. That's all I'm saying. I think it was Elon.
Totally. There have, in the entire history of the world, repressive governments will infiltrate things like peaceful protests, because people have been protesting peacefully at Tesla stores, which they have a right to. If you want to be some kind of fake government official, people get to be on your block and protest.
Also, public sidewalks exist.
And throughout the entire history of the world, repressive governments have abused that and used intelligence agencies to infiltrate them.
I call bullshit. That's what I call. Listen, I don't think anybody was out there setting the Teslas on fire. I don't think anybody's, setting any individual's Teslas on fire. I think this is just more of the same, which is nonsense from the right. And they're just going to keep feeding you bullshit, friends. So just be careful what you're consuming. and question everything under a government like this.
Question everything. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the local lowdown.
Because that's a local lowdown. Listen, Elon set his own cars on fire. That's that is what I believe in my heart, friends.
Yeah, they're fucking electronic. You mean they can't hack into them and have them do shit? No.
Listen, hang on a second. Let's go back to the Clark County School District for a minute, because I'm going to tie these two stories together just real quick before we leave this segment. Proud graduates of the Clark County School District, you and I can barely math and we can barely read. How the fuck are we going to hack a car and set it on fire? That's just not a thing that happens in Las Vegas. I'm sorry. Las Vegans are too lazy to do those things.
If we're not lazy, we're like cleaning a hotel room. What do we look like? Palo Alto.
Right, we're busy with the 3 fucking jobs we gotta have.
Like, hacker grandmas around here? No,
please. Elon Musk set those cars on fire. That is my theory here, friends, and you could take that to the bank. Your government ain't going to tell you otherwise, because look who the hell is running your government. Elon Musk is the real president of the United States, which is horrifying. So just let that wash over you. Okay, WTF is going on, Maria? Let's change it up this week. I really don't want to. I mean, we talked about Chief Justice finally standing up to Trump. That's fine. But like anything else?
Yeah, actually, there have been, speaking of crazy things happening around the world, and we can go into like other stuff, but I am really proud of speaking of living in repressive countries, I'm really proud of the people of Argentina. Because last week, Americans don't know this because they don't pay attention to the world, but Argentinians are living under a repressive government with their Trump-like president, Javier Milei, and it's not their first time. It's not their first rodeo. They've been through U.S.-supported dictatorships before, but every Wednesday, the retirees, literally old grandmas and grandpas, they retire because they don't have any pensions now. And they protest every single week. But last week's protest was amazing because football fans, hinchas, as they call them, soccer fans, soccer clubs, were sick and tired of watching them basically go every week on their own to ask about their pension, protesting, and getting beat up by cops, that they joined, and there were like thousands of young people supporting them. And guess what happened? The cops beat them up. And there's actually a journalist that is fighting for his life because they shot pellets at him and broke his skull, literally. So he's fighting for his life. And this week, though, they had the protest again, and it was just as big, and it wasn't just the retirees. And so they're basically flipping off Milei and saying, no, fuck you, sir. And I just have to say to American people, if you ever wonder what you need to do or how you live in repressive times, look at Argentina. They've been around the block many, many times. And I'm going to tell you, my mother said this, there is no country that can mobilize people, especially during repressive times, like Argentina. I mean, it's not like 20 people at a protest. We're talking thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And it is just a thing to see. I guess that's what happens when you have a country filled with Spanish and Italian hybrids. And it was a beautiful thing to see. And I just have to say, that is like, in all the bullshit that we see throughout the world happening nowadays, seeing people actually say, no, fuck you, we're gonna come back, even if you beat us up. There was an 81-year-old woman who did an interview, and she was beat up last week. And she's like, I'm still going this week. An 81-year-old woman. So I'm just super proud of them. I get to see these things because of work and stuff, and I'm just, on a personal level, very, very proud of people standing up for themselves.
I look at places like Argentina or, anywhere in South America or Europe, our homelands, and think to myself, God, what if we lived there? And again, they live in horrible repressive governments, and like, well, not Europeans, but here or in South America, they demand here now. But I always admire their people so much because the way they stand up and the way they fight back, it's something that Americans have never had to really do. And, it's even like the people in France. Those people know how to protest, man. I look at them and I'm like, dang, it's awesome. We stood out in front of the building yesterday doing a press conference with a microphone, and people were walking past. Oh, Annette's protesting again. I'm like, bro, this ain't even protesting. This is a press conference.
And what's wild is I got the chance to be in Buenos Aires during a protest and join the protest. I'd always wanted to be in one. And I'm telling you, it's like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And we were in that women's protest in DC.
In DC here, I've been in huge protests here and in DC. There is nothing. And look, Buenos Aires is not some, like, most of Latin America is not actually some third world country. Like, they have huge cities. Buenos Aires has the largest avenue in the world, like the widest. Imagine thousands of people filling that street, but then every other street that crosses it. And that is like angular to it. And then more of hundreds of people behind you. And they have an actual subway system there. And we took the subway, and the subway had to, like, cut off the final stop, like 3 stops behind, because there were hundreds to thousands of people underneath waiting to get out of the subway stations.
See, that's insane,
right? Like,
to me.
It's nuts.
It's so
It is
awesome.
super cool.
I'm like, why can't we do that?
Yeah,
friends?
it's amazing, and they are a fun time. Like, I actually protested, then we went and had a beer, and then protested again. It was literally like just walking through Buenos Aires protesting. You go into the restaurant, you have a beer, you have an empanada, and then you go back out, you continue, because it's still going. And what's funny is they start in the evenings. They start after 5 so that regular people can make it. And they just go on for hours and hours and hours.
Awesome. And I'm so jealous.
Right.
Honestly.
You should go to Buenos
I'm
Aires
jealous.
with me next time I go.
Listen, if I'm not in session, sign me up.
You'll
be
love
there.
it because they have amazing Italian food. Like pasta. It
Absolutely.
is.
Listen, that's where a lot of us went.
We went to Rome, you and I, and we were like, this is the best Italian food we've ever had, of course. And Italy, of course. Argentina competes. Argentina competes. Yeah.
I need to go. Now you've made me hungry, and now I'm over here scrolling for pizza. Anyways, I have another story that I want to talk about because this is some wild shit. Because I haven't, full disclosure to everyone who's watching, it's been a week. So I haven't been really paying attention to the national news, which, thank God. Thank you, Jesus. But Ben & Jerry's, apparently, their CEO was fired by Unilever, who is the parent company now, which was a breach of the merger agreement for its political posts. You know the founders of Ben & Jerry's is going to come back and burn the whole thing to the ground, metaphorically, not Tesla speaking, because that company has always been a political company.
And isn't that
always? They have always stood up for what is right.
And that's unconstitutional to fire, or against labor law, to fire someone for, even if they're the CEO, for political opinions or posts.
Do labor laws exist now? I know Citizens United said that, corporations are people, so technically they should have the same rights, I guess, as us, as like free speech, but like we live in a dictatorship and a hostile environment now, so apparently they're just out here firing CEOs for political posts. So I'm going to petition for Elon to be fired. Just saying, if we're going to do that, then like, let's keep it consistent.
Yeah, come on, here. Tesla shareholders. You have the power over him. Fire him.
He's on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called these days, literally shit posting all day. Just shit posting. Post after post after post of garbage and lies and nonsense. Okay, fine. If that's what we're going to do, then let's make it a whole thing. So, yeah. In an amended complaint filed Tuesday in New York, lawyers for the ice cream brand said that the rules stemming from its 2000 merger protects Ben & Jerry's interest by precluding the unilateral removal of its CEO. But Unilever did just that, removing and replacing CEO David Stever by not following the proper protocols. That said it was because the brand's continued comments on progressive issues. I mean, I'm glad that they're standing up for them.
Do it. I never thought I would be proud of a corporate lawyer. Do it. They're Ben & Jerry corporate lawyers.
We're living in we're living in weird times these days. Again, when I am thrilled and happy that I haven't had to read the news all week because I'm stuck in the legislative building and I barely have time to eat at this point. Yeah. Weird times, Maria. Weird times. But what else is going on in the world? Apparently, lots of people are protesting. I'm just on CNN scrolling at this point because, like, that's where I'm at with my life. Lots of protesting happening. Deportations have started now. So for all of you who said that wasn't going to happen, it's really happening. One of our mutual friends had a family member have it happen today. So it's happening, friends. Just want you to know that. And families are being fucking torn apart by this monster. And
it's so serious that even people that are permanent residents, have green cards, have are documented. I'm even worried as a naturalized citizen how far we're going to go.
I'm worried too about you.
Especially traveling back to the U.S.
Shit. Honestly, we should all be worried because at a certain point, you and I have said so many things and continue to say so many things politically on the record. Anybody. I mean, if a CEO's getting pulled for their political statements, who knows? You know what? At this point, send me home. Right. I don't care anymore. Send me back to Italy.
She's complaining about Melania and her sons.
The Queen is making various special appearances. I knew she wasn't just reading, that she would make a special appearance at least once tonight.
She is reminding us that Donald Trump has married immigrants who were not legal, had children with them.
His whole family is a family of fucking immigrants. From Russians.
From his side to all of his wives, to Elon Musk, who was also illegal. Hypocrites.
Can we just talk about something? Speaking of hypocrites. I just read a headline because it's going to come full circle to the previous segment in this one. Tesla vandals, you said this earlier, but the headline really strikes me because you just said hypocritical. Tesla vandals are terrorists, according to Trump. What about your January 6th assholes that stormed the Capitol of the United States? Those were terrorists. You let them out of jail. You let sexual predators out of jail. You are a sexual predator.
On the podium
you're a literal...
You let Conor the rapist and slumlord McGregor
I knew we were going there.
Into your fucking White House.
Okay, all right. I promised you this week you could save your rage on our text thread with my husband, and you could go on and on about this. Go.
Conor the rapist and slumlord McGregor, if you didn't see, was apparently the mascot for St. Patrick's Day in the U.S., and they gave him a fucking...
As an Irish person, offensive on so many levels, right? First of all, gross. Second of all, we don't even celebrate that shit.
And he...
Go on.
You know what's fucked up is that...
One part
is that, let's say the rape doesn't get to you. And we're not talking about once, we're not talking about twice, we're talking about many times. He has raped women. It's one of the reasons why actually a lot of Irish MMA fighters hate him, because he's well known to rape women, especially if they are in the gym. And they were very violent. They were very terrible. We will not talk about them. But if that doesn't get you, he would always say that he represented the Irish people, that he represented the working class type of Irish person because he came from nothing and made himself... The moment he got rich, what did he do? He bought up mom and pop, this will chap your ass as retail association, mom and pop retail, like hairdressers, stores, etc., that were individually owned and operated, hiked up the rent, and basically became a slumlord. He is just another Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Wannabe.
He's just gross. He's so disgusting. And like the fact that they're just like out here... Like, I just watched this shit, Maria, and I'm like, why is he standing behind the podium of the fucking White House press room? Like, why is he at the podium?
Because we live in idiocracy, IRL now.
Like, you couldn't find a leprechaun or something? Like,
that'd be better.
Dressed up in a green suit for you and danced around like a little leprechaun? I'm Irish. You had to pick this motherfucker to represent the Irish people? That was the only Irishman you could conjure
That's how you know you're fucked up, if you only know like one person.
On the east coast of the United States of America, you are right next door.
Irish person.
Literally Irish Central. My people die whole rivers green. And you couldn't conjure up one Irish person that wasn't a bag of shit.
Chulo agrees.
That's what you had to do?
Chulo is an honorary Irishman.
Have we seen any response from Ireland? Because, like, I'm real curious. Did they, like, riot? Because I know that's, like, what my people typically do over there. What did they
There
think?
are lots of podcasts that I have seen of people being like, that motherfucker does not represent me. Right, Chulo? I hate Conor McGregor.
Oh, first thing I pulled up, because I Googled it, because I got to know, right? Like, again, this Irish woman, because I'm very proud of my Italian heritage, but I'm also very proud of my Irish heritage, because that's the other half, right? And yeah, Conor McGregor draws Irish leaders' ire after anti-immigration comments at the White House. Nobody told me he commented on
he
it.
basically said that Ireland is crap because of immigrants and immigration here. But literally, that was the line against Irish people. They were, by the way, they were literally like the first that immigrants hated, right? All the Anglos.
Irish need not apply. Do we not remember our history here?
Nope.
Even before the other half came,
Irish
right? The Irish came first. The Irish need not apply. Then is when we all became, the Italians became the WAPs, right?
And what does WAP mean as Italian?
Do we, without papers, that's what it means. That was a derogatory term used by people to explain that Italians were, at the time, undocumented immigrants. And so that was the OG racism against them. And then all of us Italians decided to assimilate so we could magically become white people and people would treat us better.
There are still some undocumented Italians out there. Joe Giudice.
Yeah.
Supported by Donald Trump.
Just saying, Donald Trump supporter, Joe Giudice. Maria Teresa, there is a legend walking in this home. Are you ready for it? I'm on my podcast. You can come wave.
Is it a ghost?
Wait, it's a surprise. Come wave.
Oh my goodness, Assemblywoman Maggie Carlton.
The legend. She is here.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, just saying. Speaking of mentors, one of the women who taught me everything I know, Maggie Carlton. So Maria, we've talked about Conor McGregor. We've talked about various other things. What's left on our agenda today?
I don't know. How do you want to wrap up? I mean, we talked a lot about Conor McGregor is my headache. He's an asshole.
You've been saving that all week.
You know, and for people that don't know, I'm like a big martial arts MMA boxing fan, have been since I was young. And it pisses me off how the right, I argue, infiltrated by the Russians, and owned by the Russians, UFC. But they have basically taken over the sport, which is supposed to be about like really working hard, really being humble because you can get knocked out at any moment. Like Mike Tyson used to say, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. Like that's what martial arts and things are supposed to represent. And the current ownership and the current, like they're not, and by the way, UFC fighters get treated like shit and UFC shit now.
They have health
and
insurance.
I can't believe that that is who is basically leading the culture of that world, and it's fucked up. And there are much better people out there. Like I know when we've had like people that were trying to unionize, and they're great guys, and they don't get any attention and get shit on because they try to actually be good people.
Imagine that. Well,
that's my hot take and headache.
I'm still sitting with the fact that I didn't know he made anti-immigrant remarks at the, like, I hate everything about it. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing so I don't cry.
What's Conor McGregor gonna do next? Wave an English flag around and say that, you know, the English didn't commit the potato famine?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, if we're out here being anti-immigrant, then I want Elon deported too. Just saying. If we're out here deporting, let's deport them all. Bye, Elon.
Bye. If we're just going to do equal opportunity, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Just go on down the list. You know, honestly, again, just deport me at this point. I'm over it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Italy or Ireland would be much better.
I give up. Ireland, listen, over the summer, I plan to go. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to go see the homeland. The other homeland. Might just stay. Apparently, you know, and I'm going to go see Iceland and Greenland before Greenland's like taken over, you know, because I don't have anything to do with it if it's owned by the United States, but I'm excited for it. So, I don't know. Anyways, okay. So, time for the final bell. Before we go, like, what are you watching?
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we watching? What are we saying? So, I mostly watch Zoom calls because, you know, life.
Have you caught up on any Housewives lately?
I have to. However, you know,
You are multiple
I am.
seasons
That's
behind
so
now.
terrible. But yeah, I have to catch up. I'm going to be watching that hopefully soon. Yell at me if I don't.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I'm currently watching Summer House, and I'm very happy about it on Bravo. I finished The Traitors. If anybody needs something to watch, The Traitors is very good. I will, spoiler alert, so if you're watching The Traitors, get off before I spoil season 3 for you. I do have to tell you this because you're never going to watch it, so it doesn't matter anyways. Dolores Catania wins season
No
3 of The
way.
Traitors. Yes. Well, she's like with three other people. But they are the faithful, so it's like the faithful versus the traitors, and she wins. She's one of the 4 that wins. I can't believe she won.
Yeah.
Not the smartest,
No.
not the brightest bulb, but the most faithful of the faithful. Her and like this dude who's like a royal from Great Britain, and some dude from The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, I believe. Anyways, yeah, it was great.
That's
It was a great
awesome.
season. But Dolores,
I love
Dolores Catania
She's
won.
amazing.
Yeah.
Her husband should go represent Ireland, or her fiance or boyfriend.
I was gonna say he's not a husband yet. He still hasn't married her.
He's as close as she's gotten.
I got a lot of opinions on it. Yeah, she won like 50 grand. Good for her.
Hell yeah.
You go, girl.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so Summer House, Traitors, and then, whenever I have time to catch up, Southern Charm, but not really. Well, I guess Beverly Hills is still on, but other than that, with New Jersey not being on because the Andy has them on hold, there is no real good Housewives on right now.
Yeah. Well, when I'm not working, I have been taking up a few hobbies. Well, one, I'm going to learn to crochet, and I bought these like woobles. It's called woobles.
Well, I know what woobles are. You know who makes them? Yui's kid.
Really? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes.
I bought the Harry Potter set, and I'm so excited. They're so cute. And, I travel a lot, and sometimes I'm like, I want to do something that doesn't involve a screen. And, especially since traveling internationally now and back to the US is so fucking scary. But I'm like, I want to have some kind of therapy in the airport. So, and they're little and compact, and I can take them.
Let me know when you actually finish them.
I will. I'm excited.
With your 80.
I'm excited. I know. I'm super excited.
Okay. I can't wait to see the final product. Bring it on a show.
And what I'm actually probably going to do is actually film myself doing it, because I've always wanted to see like how I progress. And so I might actually just post it online. Yeah.
You should. You absolutely should.
I'm super.
Maybe next week I'll do like a tour of the building for those who've never been in. Maybe I'll do like a walking tour of the building. That'd be fun.
Super fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe we should do it while you're up here.
That would be really fun, because I've never seen the new.
Speaking, I can't wait for you to be in Carson City.
Hey, we should do a lot of stuff while we're.
Speaking of Grassroots Lobby Days coming up, everyone.
Yeah.
Sign up. We'll put the link in the chat again. If you want to go to Grassroots Lobby Days, now's the time to sign up. And you have scholarships.
Yes, we do. We have scholarships. You can go to NevadaWomen'sLobby.org, but we will post the direct link to register in the comments. And in that link, you can see a section that says, do you need a scholarship? It's a separate form, but you just fill that out too and let us know if you need a scholarship, and we will happily give it to people who need it.
All right, fabulous. Well, that's the final bell. That's all the time we have today for 1 Minute Recess. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in to the 1 Minute Recess explainer on how to track a bill in Nellis. Maria posted that earlier today because I am a useless person and I've been trapped in the building all week. So shout out to Maria for that. And don't forget to like and subscribe our podcast and share it with all your friends, because that's how we get more people to be educated about all things politics and things we enjoy too. If you have comments, you have questions, put them in the chat. Next week, we'll have another guest on the show, so tune in. Maria, you want to take us out?
Thank you, Annette. And remember, we will be back next week, as Annette said. And so we want to make sure that everyone just stays sharp, stay sassy, and get involved with whatever you care about. Now is the time. We need people. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week. Sorry we were late this week.